I'm Steve Greenwood and I'm a wildlife filmmaker with the BBC around the corner in White Ladies Road. These sea dragons are fossils of enormous pliosaurs and ichthyosaurs, which are like ancient reptiles which lived in the warm seas around Somerset. And so the one we're looking at now is the skull of one of the old Westbury pliosaurs, and it must be about 4 feet long, and it's got teeth which must be 7 or 8 inches long. And these extraordinary fossils, they seem to me to be really part of what Bristol is about. These fossils were collected by geologists back in the 1820s and 1830s and later, all who came from Bristol and from the west of England. And they were a big part of the Bristol collection up to before the war, when they got bombed out. And for me, one of the things that I love about them is that there were these people back in the early Victorian days collecting these enormous, like early dinosaurs, or the equivalents of early dinosaurs, and they were beginning to realise that the Earth was actually really, really ancient. And it was just at that time that the penny was beginning to drop, that the Earth wasn't quite a recent thing, but went back for hundreds and hundreds of millions of years. And so they were laying the foundations for what later on Charles Darwin wrote about in the theory of evolution through natural selection. And that key concept that the land we're standing on now goes back for ages and ages and ages. And so one of the things that I love about fossils is that it makes you into like a time traveller, because through understanding the geology and through understanding the animals that lived inside, that are buried inside those rocks, you can be transported back in time and get an idea of what the place used to look like. So if we could go in a time capsule back in time to Somerset and Gloucestershire back in those days, we'd be in this warm sea, and there'd be these little ammonites and belemnites bobbing about the place, which are these ancestors of modern squid, and these huge sea dragons gang around eating them. Isn't that fantastic? I love that. And the other thing that always really strikes me about this is that when I was a little kid, I was really into collecting fossils. I lived up in Yorkshire and collected ammonites and belemnites, nothing like this. And the very first ichthyosaur that was ever found was found by a child. It was found by Mary Anning, who lived down in Lyme Regis, and she was just 11 years old. And so that's so fantastic, because it means that anybody, it doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're an amateur or you're a professional, but anyone who wants to collect fossils can potentially find something absolutely incredible. All you need to do is just keep your eyes open.